Alright, so I'm here with another video on ISIS, and this is going to be a really interesting video because I'm going to cover a lot of articles. I took a long time getting this video prepared and shit. A lot of news articles, a lot of interesting news articles, a lot of government documents I'm going to read off, and they're very, very interesting. I don't say this a lot. I'm not trying to get people to tune into this video. I'm serious. This is very fucking interesting. It might be a little boring at first. I'm just going to go over the basic news of it. Then I'm going to get into the to the good part. So just stick with me for a minute. This is off the Huffington Post. I mean, this is basically mainstream news. This GOP Republican Duncan Hunter claims at least 10 ISIS fighters apprehended on Texas border. And it says Republican Duncan Hunter claimed Tuesday that at least 10 Islamic State fighters were apprehended while attempting to enter the U.S. at its southern border. The San Diego Republican said U.S. Border Patrol sources told him at least 10 ISIS fighters have been caught coming across the Mexican border in Texas. There's that article there. It's out of the Huffington Post. So, yeah, he's right. This, people have, it has no evidence really to back it up. And a lot of people are saying that, but it does. People are right. It doesn't really have a lot of evidence to back it up. But to dismiss this guy, I see a lot of people, oh, he's a crazy. I see Rachel Maddow, oh, this guy's crazy. It's stupid. Like, how is that crazy to think? That's pretty logical, actually, I think. If I was ISIS, I would come to the open borders, the publicly open borders of America, which we aren't even protecting, hardly. So, I mean, it's very possible that this happened. And for somebody to just, oh, he's crazy, to dismiss him as crazy is pretty stupid. So then we get, of course, this is the article about Rachel Maddow and, her demonizing this guy who claimed that 10 ISIS guys were caught at the border. So I'm just going to read off here. Right-wing media outlets were predictably excited about the baseless claims. National Review, citing Hunter's comments, asked, could the administration really successfully cover up something as big as this? Ha ha ha. Of course they can. Look at all the shit they've covered up over the years. They have done so many cover-ups. That is could they cover up? Of course they get covered. Just look at all the things and all the lies that they've done and covered up. The 9/11, the funding terrorism, to just everything. To the NSA spying. Yeah, Edward Snowden coming out, revealing all the information. They covered that shit up. So yeah, they could cover this up. Easily could cover this up. There's a small problem. Neither Hunter nor his allies have any verifiable evidence to bolster the allegations. I mean that quite literally. There's nothing from Border Patrol, nothing from other members of Congress or relevant committees, nothing from the Mexican government, and nothing from the Department of Homeland Security. And it says, on the contrary, DHS, which is the Department of Homeland Security, described the claim as categorically false, and Secretary Jay Johnson suggested, who's the head of Homeland Security, he's not. I don't think he's the head. Who's the head of Jan Napolitano, who doesn't say who says Drudge is incredible, or says Forbes is more credible than Drudge, is the guy of Homeland Security, or the leader of Homeland Security, I believe. Secretary Jay Johnson suggested Hunter has no idea what he's talking about. So I mean, Rachel Maddow basically is she's like, oh, DHS says this guy's claim is false. That means I'm right. Yeah, because the government's never lied before. And yeah, DHS, the Gestapo, is so great, And this is where we're going to get really interesting right here. Exposing the Department of Homeland Security and all the government around this whole terrorist thing. This one's really, really interesting. This one, right here. I'll read it. This is coming out of the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism. I should have put the link. They usually put the link at the bottom of the page, but it's a credible source. I mean, it says, final report to the Human Factors / Behavioral Sciences Division, Science and Technology, Directorate, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So it's a Department of Homeland Security document. And it basically just talks about terrorism. And then we go to here, extreme right-wing terrorism. It doesn't say terrorism, but it's talking about extreme right-wing terrorism and what they think is extreme right-wing terrorism. Groups that believe that one's personal and or national way of life is under attack and is either already lost or that the threat is imminent. For some, the threat is from a specific ethnic, racial, or religious group, and believe in the need to be prepared for an attack either by participating in paramilitary preparations and training or survivalism. So basically, if you believe your way of life is under attack, which it is, I mean, look at, ever since 9/11, we have all our liberties and freedoms basically taken away. You know, martial law, pretty much undeclared martial law almost in the United States. So I'm pretty much a terrorist, I guess, under Department of Homeland Security. You know, somebody called Department of Homeland Security and report me as being a terrorist. Oh, and if you're prepared for like a catastrophe or something like that, oh, you're also a terrorist. Believe the need to be prepared for an attack, either by participating in paramilitary preparations and training or survivalism. So if you are preparing to survive, if something bad goes wrong, oh, you're a terrorist. Yeah, that's fucking great. And then it continues here. Groups may also be fiercely nationalistic as opposed to universal and international in orientation, anti-global, suspicious of centralized federal authority, reverent of individual liberty, and believe in conspiracy theories that involve grave threat to national sovereignty and or personal liberty. So I'm pretty much an extreme right-wing terrorist, according to the Department of Homeland Security. So if I'm nationalistic, I'm a terrorist. If I'm suspicious of central federal authority, which has proven to lie on numerous occasions. If I like liberty, I'm a terrorist. If I believe in conspiracy theories like 9/11, if I believe in, so basically if I don't go along with what the government's saying, I'm a terrorist. And then it goes on to say single-issue terrorists. Groups or individuals that obsessively focus on very specific or narrowly defined causes, for example, anti-abortion, anti-Catholic, anti-nuclear, anti-Castro. This category includes groups from all sides of the political spectrum. So if I'm anti-abortionist and if I focus on that issue a lot, I'm a terrorist. Haha, If I'm anti-Catholic, which I'm not anti-Catholic, I'm actually a Catholic, but you have a right to be anti-Catholic. If you're anti-Catholic, then you're a terrorist. If you focus on being anti-Catholic a lot, you're a terrorist. If you're anti-nuclear a lot, you're a terrorist. If you're anti-Castro, so if you're anti-communism and you really preach that you're anti-communism, you're a terrorist, according to the Department of Homeland Security. This is just mind-blowing, people. Like, wake up to the fact that in their own documents they're even saying, that people who don't trust government, who love liberty, are terrorists. Who are anti-abortion are terrorists. So that's like one of the, that's a very interesting document right there. Very interesting document. Then we got this article from Forbes, right here. Why the heck is DHS buying more than 1 billion bullets plus thousands of guns and mine-resistant armored vehicles? I don't know. They must be preparing for something big. Possibly, I don't know. But them buying up 1 billion bullets, where Rachel Maddow just, dismisses a conspiracy theory, on her show. It's just mind-boggling, it's in mainstream news too. It's in mainstream news that Rachel Maddow's like, oh, it's just a conspiracy theory. Don't worry about it. Blah 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 blah. Oh, and then this is very very fucking interesting too. Three little things here. The FBI has about, I think, 25 of these. Just going over specific locations like shopping malls, internet cafes, and talking about what things in there are suspicious activity for a terrorist. I should have highlighted this. I forgot to highlight this. But I usually highlight most of my articles so I don't have to, go through them. But this one, these are all FBI documents too. I mean, it just says FBI there. Bureau of Justice Assistance, Federal Bureau of Investigation. And it says potential indicators of terrorist activities related to shopping malls and entertainment facilities. Individual appearance. Wearing backpacks or heavy coats when the weather is warm. So if I wear a backpack, I could be a terrorist. Again, just everybody wears backpacks. Come on. That is retarded. So if I wear a backpack in a shopping mall, I might be a terrorist. So I mean, it's just fucking, just kind of stupid that if I wear a backpack, I could be a terrorist. I think that's oh, and it says discreet use of cameras, note taking or video recorders over an extended period of time. I guess it's not as extreme as the backpack thing, but a lot of people like to just record shit. I see a lot of people just recording. Maybe not in shopping malls, but I don't think that should be considered a terrorist action. And it says several men arriving together, then splitting up, continuing to communicate by phone. Again, like, not really a terrorist activity there. Then we'll go to this one. Potential indicators of terrorist activities related to internet cafe are overly concerned about privacy. Attempts to shield the screen from view of others. So if I'm over concerned about keeping my private information to myself, I could be a terrorist. Always pay cash or use credit cards in different names. So if I pay with cash, I'm a terrorist. Come on. Look at this, people. People think our government's this great thing, protect us. But they list people who pay as cash in internet cafes as terrorists. Right in the documents, people. People, you're a conspiracy theorist. What it says it right here. FBI documents. So, I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here. It doesn't look like there's anything else too extreme in here. And then we go to the potential indicators of terrorist activities related to military surplus stores. Again, right here, it says, insist on paying with cash. Again, I mean, it's just pretty stupid. And then also, make bulk purchases of items to include meals ready to eat, weatherproofed ammunition or match containers. Bipods or tripods for rifles, high capacity magazines, night vision devices, night flashlights, gas masks. So if you're preparing for like a disaster happening or a government breakdown or anarchy, if you're preparing for that, you're a terrorist. Just taking precautions. Like today, I like to keep just a little bit of, call me a fucking conspiracy theorist, but I just recently, like, Ebola's happening now. So what if a lot of people get Ebola and you don't want to go out your house that often? So I decided to buy just a little bit extra water. I got, it's very cheap. It's pretty cheap too. It's only $8 to buy 8 3-liter bottles of water. So I got 8 3-liter things of water in my room. Just a little precautionary thing. And it's also too, I get the Nestle, which claim they do reverse osmosis, which is a good thing for removing fluoride, which is proven to cause cancer in a lot of studies. So it's a win-win there. So if I'm concerned with something bad happening, anarchy, a natural disaster, I'm a terrorist for just buying food to save up. Now we're gonna get into how the U.S. funds terrorists. I've already talked about this numerous times on my channel. This one here out of Huffington Post. How the U.S. taxpayers are funding the Taliban. Some experts have estimated that close to $1 billion of foreign assistance has fallen into the hands of the enemy as a result of poorly run counterinsurgency programs, ill-advised USAID projects, and countless logistics and security extortion rings. I think it's more on purpose than it's poorly run. We're just funding we're funding the moderates who Colonel Anthony Schaefer says are over 65% ISIS. So I mean, I think we're more funding them on purpose as opposed to a mistake. In this article out of the Daily Beast, America's allies are funding ISIS. We supposedly got all these 40 countries are supporting us against airstrikes, supporting us with these airstrikes against ISIS. Yet the allies fund them. Mainstream news, people. Report here out of ABC News. U.S. bribes to protect convoys are funding Taliban insurgents. The United States military is helping fund both sides of the war in Afghanistan, knowingly financing a mafia-like collection of warlords and some of the very insurgents American troops are battling, according to Afghan and American officials in a new congressional study released today. Confirmed, knowingly funding terrorists. It says it in the documents, people. Yet I'm called, oh, I'm crazy. No way we fund terrorists. Yet mainstream news, it reports it. ABC News. Again, soldiers killed by terrorists backed by U.S. cash. The United States has paid more than $150 million to companies in Afghanistan that are accused of helping to finance terrorist attacks on American soldiers and facilities, according to the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction. Among them is a road construction company the U.S. says it is partly owned by a leader of the brutal Haqqani network, which was blamed for an attack on the U.S. Embassy in Kabul that claimed 16 lives in 2011. So, I mean, we fund the terrorists. Just proved it. It's the mainstream news. Wake up. Rand Paul, says, oh, we gave 600 tons of this of supplies to the moderates, which are actually ISIS. And they all fall into the hands of ISIS. So us giving all these weapons, all the supplies to, the quote, Syrian moderate rebels, is build it up, ISIS. I mean, it's just fucking crazy. And then the last article here, I wanted to bring this up. Fox News basically put this video on an article. Twisted Ivy. Harvard students say U.S. bigger threat to world peace than ISIS. So again, we got them demonizing people for criticizing the government. So look at yourself. Just analyze yourself. Who has affected you more since 9/11? Terrorists? Directly. Has affected you directly. Terrorists or the government? Terrorists have not affected me directly one bit. I have not been killed. I have not been injured. I have not been confronted by a terrorist in my life. Alright? Yet the government is taking my liberties. They've spied on me. They've shut down. It's just. So, I mean, the government is obviously a bigger threat. And they say, oh, they're Twisted Ivy. They're crazy. ISIS hasn't attacked anybody in the U.S. Yeah, they've killed, 5 people? 5, they've beheaded 5 people in videos which experts say are probably staged, are probably fake. Yet, people are crazy. Oh, they're crazy for thinking the government's going to take our rights. Yeah, all crazy. Just makes me all mad. It makes me mad when I'm fighting a fight. I'm taking hours out of my day to research important issues. I'm watching, the Alex Jones show. I'm doing research on shit. I'm looking up mainstream news articles. I'm doing all this research. Yet people just like to discredit us, like to discredit and say, oh, conspiracy theorists. If you think the government's bad, and if you think a government's a threat to us, oh, you're twisted in the mind. You're crazy. So it just pisses me off. And that was just a good, this video was just a general video on ISIS, because ISIS is an important topic to talk about. And this guy saying, oh, ISIS was apprehended at the border. Is it true? I don't know. But it's something to bring up. And you cannot discredit him as crazy when you don't have any evidence to confirm that his claims are false. They say, oh, DHS is, oh, yeah. The same DHS that, has been claiming that I'm a terrorist. So, fucking, what's her name? Janet Napolitano fucking saying Drudge isn't really credible. So, I mean, it just makes me mad. So, all these articles right here, look them up, people. Look them up for yourself. All these articles there proving that the government is corrupt, proving that we fund ISIS, proving that the Department of Homeland Security classifies liberty lovers, anti-abortionists as terrorists. So there you go, people. Look it up for yourself. I spent about probably 2 hours looking all this up. Not only learning more information for myself, but also informing other people about it. This is very important, people. Everybody's obsessed with sports and shit. This is what's important. disinformation, that the government is corrupt, the government is classifying us as terrorists. If you pay with cash, you're a terrorist. So this is the important information, not, some fucking bullshit with playoff baseball, or I don't know. All this shit that's being your celebrities, Katy Perry, Miley, whatever. That's not important. This is important, people. Alright? So learn the information, spread the word. I always say that. Spread the word. That's how we will win in the end and defeat this corrupt government that is classifying me, and probably you, as a terrorist. So there you go, people. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your feedback on it. I mean, it was a pretty logical video, only based around mainstream news and government documents, pretty much. It's not coming off from a conspiracy theory website. This was all mainstream news or government documents. So you cannot call me a conspiracy theorist for, just talking about information from mainstream news and government documents. So there you go, people. Spread the word. Let me know your thoughts on it, negative or positive. I don't care. I'm all for the First Amendment. Let me know your thoughts on it. So there you go, people.